That's a great call, too. Play fake. Farmer will put it up, throws over the middle. Pull, touchdown. Quick flag.
3rd down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again. Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met. The backfield runs through the contact and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
Revenge on this team this year. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon comes in. Welcome to 2025.
Edwards pulls off and buries it.
Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her 3 right on the money.
Takes his shot for Derby. Flag out. Doesn't matter. Touchdown.
One of these days I'll get that right. Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Oh, look at this. I told you guys we were going to have an awesome guest. And yes, Sun Devil Volleyball's reigning Big 12 champion. And I say that after every show since last year. The reigning I know you guys aren't allowed to live in last year. Coach Reddy warned me that I'm not allowed to poison your mind with that. But and, Coach Van Neal knows what he's doing, as you know, Bailey. But this is Bailey Miller back for another awesome, phenomenal season of Sun Devil Volleyball. By the way, I'm Michael Carrotsman. You guys know it's Pitchfork Lunch at Diablo00 on X. Again, follow, go there, questions. The YouTube channel, guys, go to YouTube and subscribe. It's not that hard. Watch live, but subscribe, because those of you that are seeing this now, you know you're lucky. If you miss it, go back and watch, because, again, the first Big 12 champs on campus. Now, yes, maybe because their season started early, a few weeks before football, but you were the first. So anyway, Bailey Miller, thanks so much for taking the time.
Yes,
we greatly appreciate it. So, all right, I got to say, because Utah, you beat Utah last. Very awesome. But the ring ceremony, when teams have it, whether you think of any sport, any level, but from, whether, high school all the way up to the pros, the Super Bowl team gets their rings the first night, or the NBA, champs get their rings, and there's they start the game and there's kind of a lull. I know coach isn't a big fan of that, but there be a lull, but man, you guys came out fast against Utah, but just the experience of getting the rings, obviously what last year you guys accomplished as a team and were able to do. I mean, first year in the Big 12, and everybody's like, oh, there's teams from the Pac-12 coming in. They try to act like they weren't worried, but they all know the Pac-12 had the best volleyball. Anyway, as a conference. But just what was that the ring ceremony like? I mean, obviously some of your teammates were back that had moved on, and just you got your ring. What was it like?
It was so special. I mean, being able to see the ring, because we had never even seen the design. Only the people that designed it. Yeah, it was Mary and Claire, I think, had designed it. So all of us players
designed it.
They had a part in it, but just some of us had never even seen it. So that was super special. And then getting to see Mary and Arj and Shania. They're sometimes here in practice, but getting to see them and celebrate with them was super special. But yeah, it was super cool.
That is, okay, and I know Bryn was going to join us too, because I publicized Bryn. I know she's a little under the, but that's all right, because she's got to be right for for Baylor. Sorry, keep fast forward. I'm not skipping. We'll get to that in a second. I am not skipping Baylor. But I mean, when you players like that, obviously volleyball to me is one of the. I'm on the fence, because you transferred here. It's funny because you have an opposite story. I mean, you went from Texas to West Virginia. She goes from North Carolina to A&M. Doesn't really play. It keeps going west, and you come back west. But I mean, because players in different sports I've talked to, I think like baseball and something even like a sport that I played, like soccer. I mean, there's coaches that you're working with, but volleyball to me would kind of be a sport like, yes, chemistry. I know a lot of girls play high school, play club. You're playing with different players. You kind of get used to it, but the portal, I'm on the fence about, because to me it's kind of tough. Like, you're going into a new situation. Obviously, not that you can't get along, but when new players come in like that, you see a player like Argentina, because I mean we saw what she did. I mean at Washington State, and it was just like when Coach landed that, I was like, wow.
Big, yeah.
I'm like wow. But I mean players coming in like that, like you want to assimilate with the team right away. But what was it like just with Arj coming in last year, and I mean the other I mean obviously you dealt with it too, but I mean how does that? How does like JJ make it easy, and just how did everything mesh to have the awesome season you guys had?
Yeah, honestly, I think he just values chemistry so much. So, everybody coming in, it was just from the start, just everybody. It was so important for everybody to start to assimilate and get to know each other off the court. And we got so close off the court. So I think it just made it easy once we got on. And I think everybody played such an important role, whether you're on the court or off. So I think knowing that everybody was giving their 100% also kind of helped. But yeah, we had really close relationships off the court. We were always hanging out. Honestly, we're one of the closest teams I've ever been on and I've ever seen talking to other players at other schools. So just our chemistry and team culture is amazing.
Okay, and so that being said, I'm obviously, again, it's a ASU show, nothing against West Virginia, but like going there, and again, like the transfer portal again makes it, again, not that you weren't invested, and I say this to every player that I've talked to that's transferred, here or into here or has left here, but like, what was it like for you that made it right to hop all the way back across the country closer to Texas? But I mean in transferring, I mean, what made ASU right? But I mean, and what was it maybe about West Virginia that you thought that fit that maybe didn't?
Yeah, I think when I committed, they were coming off a really good season where they had lost all their seniors. So I was kind of coming and knew I was going to play, but it was like they had a good reputation of winning the season before, and then I knew I was going to play. So that was really enticing for me. And then getting there, it was definitely a different environment than I was expecting. It wasn't as much of like that winning environment that I saw here when I came and visited. And like JJ was kind of in that same situation where he was, new here and he had all these new players and he was able to get them together and get them to play as a team and like get them to be winners. And so I liked that mentality, whereas at West Virginia it was a little bit different. And she's being wild. She's saying she was going to play. Her numbers as a freshman were sick. I mean, we're not a stats show, as you guys know. Yes, I do talk about them and talk about it on the show, but I mean, obviously had a very, very good freshman season there and sophomore season, right? Yeah. Freshman and sophomore. I mean, academics as well, but I mean, and then you talk about, I mean, because Coach Van Neal comes in and everybody, I mean, ASU volleyball has kind of always been, and me being an alum, and having been to a ton of games, it's always been one of those sports that in the Pac-12, and it's like, man, like they went so long without when they were competing, Jeff Metcalf and I were talking like, man, I can't believe it's been that long. Like you say you can't believe it, but then it's in the Pac-12 and Pac-10, and then obviously the Pac-12 is like, man, but to go, okay, I got to represent the first year in the Big 12, though. You go in, and I mean, obviously, and we'll talk about Baylor in 1 second because that match on TV really annoyed us. I know you're probably really surprised it annoyed me. No, but anyway, but I mean, you go through, and again, not that it was, I'm not saying the Big 12 was easy because of the matches that how you guys played, but just every night, like what did you feel that playing in the Pac-12? Coming in from the last, few seasons of the Pac-12 and then that last season going into the Big 12 made it. And again, last year I said, it was easy. I was obviously talking in jest to people because it was not easy to win the conference. But I mean, just to win the conference in your first year in that competition, did you feel like some teams were maybe could you feel like the wind out of their sails just, when the match first started, just because of like the dominance and just the smoothness you guys played with last year? Yeah, honestly, I think that's what, scared people is the composure, just going on the court and no one was, had a down face or everybody was just ready to go. And you honestly probably couldn't even tell what the score was. Even if we were down, it was always just composure and, we were able to bounce back. So I think that did scare people and just the consistency that we had with all those seniors and all that experience. Yeah, because I go back to the Kansas match, obviously, Mullet, you beat Kansas and then they were just a teeny bit ahead of you. You beat Kansas, and then they go down. Well, whatever. They went down to that school down south and lost too. But whatever. we don't really say much nice things. I don't. You don't have to say it, but believe me, I always do. All right, but yeah, I keep saying Baylor. So last year at Baylor, you guys go to TCU first. You beat TCU. And then you go down to Waco and play Baylor. And I asked Coach jokingly after Utah's win, I said, "Oh, hey, are you asking
the biology department to bring some crickets and just drop them from the ceiling on their side? I mean, because I kept seeing people come on the court, and before the announcer said anything about it, I'm like, I know like they sweat. I'm like, but this is like really abnormal. I'm like, this is abnormal. And then finally one of the cameras goes, and I'm like, guys, come on, man. It's a Division I. Like, I get it. It's out in Texas, and people, and again, you're from, I'm not making like, jokes, but come on, man. A cricket, like you kept having to stop like every 3 points. And again, I know sometimes they come out quick, but so, I mean, I don't know. Did you want to maybe import crickets to like drop on their side of the court?
I think none of us ever want to see a cricket again after that. Yeah, but that was a tough environment to play in, especially not even just because of the crickets, but just like even just like things like the lighting. Like, it's just such a weird gym, and so obviously, we could have played a lot better. We could have done this and that differently. So you can't really blame it on some bugs, but that was just added on top of it. That was really frustrating. So we're excited to have them at home.
Well, volleyball. Again, talking to coaches and players, it is like the biggest short-term memory sport. People say like, basketball, you miss a shot, football, you miss, you drop a pass, but it's one of those things where like you still have a little bit of time. Volleyball is like, as you know, and I've said, like talking to a plethora of your teammates, like it's one of those things. If you put your head down, like you drop 1 point, then all of a sudden you guys drop 4 points. It's like, where the hell did this just come from, right? So like it is short-term memory, but momentum. To my point, the other side of that is like if you get something going, there's no momentum. Like anyway, but okay, so enough about Baylor in the crowd. I just had to ask. He kind of chuckled about that too, because I'm like, it's Division I gym, man. And again, so going to West Virginia, like I said, being in Texas, when you committed to West Virginia, obviously they were already in the Big 12, and then ASU, like, I mean, when you started here, they were in the Pac-12, but I mean, everybody hears rumors, murmurs, and athletic departments. I mean, it's, I'm sure the conversation is even bigger, but I mean, in coming here and like knowing that you're going to get to go back to Texas to play quite a bit, was that kind of, I know you said, JJ, was that kind of another like deciding factor in it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love the Big 12. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to West Virginia. There's a lot of Texas schools, of course. I'd be able to go home, and I think it is a competitive environment and competitive conference. And it's just fun. I think there's big fan bases, big in football. So yeah, just every gym we play in is usually pretty nice, apart from Baylor. But no, I shouldn't say that. But Baylor does have a nice gym. It's just everybody, most people have Terraflex, just little things like that. Most people have really, diehard fans. So it's always fun to go on the road. And obviously, ASU has the best fans. So I mean, it's cool to be able to host. Now we have Terraflex in every game, just things like that. It's just like super cool to see and like the growth of the conference. So. And
then, okay, so I mean, last year, obviously, the year before, I mean, the Pac-12, you go up to Oregon, and you guys had dropped to Oregon State, and I remember, I think it was Jelly had said to me, it's like when we were up at we went to Oregon, and it's like when they were warming up, it's like they just kind of had looks on their faces, like they were almost like nonchalant, like kind of laughing because we lost to Oregon State, and you go up and whoop them. But my point to that is, so that last year, like matches like that, like when you're here, and then obviously coming back to beat Stanford, which the opening clip I always remind everybody, that's from like when you beat Stanford. What does that do? Just, I mean, like I said, JJ's trying to like build something, like obviously it's your guys' talent and your players, but like when you do something like that, just how much the electricity on campus is my point, because last year, like, you guys kind of set that for the fall. I know football still had a lot of injuries, whatever, but you guys, I mean, rocked it. You go to the tournament, you smack the Provo, which the broadcaster was driving me nuts, but anyway, being a homer, but I mean, you go through up in BYU, but then again, last year, like when you accomplish things like that, what is it just, I mean, yes, it's big for the program, big for you guys, but I mean, when you're doing it, and then when you're here and you're like, okay, coach is like, I want this to happen, then it finally happens. Like, was there just kind of like a switch just around campus? You just felt electricity, people seeing you guys be like, oh, hey, we're gonna come out to the game, or like stuff like that.
No, it's definitely easier to get people because you go out and you say, hey, come to our game, and then they're like, well, are you any good? And we get to say, hey, we're number whatever in the country. Right now we're number 8 in the country. Like, come out to a game and we'll show you that we're a great team. So things like that, it's so easy to market ourselves. So yeah, it's been really cool. There's just people on the streets that are like, oh my gosh, are you guys on the volleyball team? So like even like that, it's like, I mean, coming from West Virginia, like that's not really a volleyball place. So it's like I was on the streets, hearing like, oh my gosh, is that Bailey Miller? But like here, that's been an occurrence. So it's just like cool. Like my teammates, Noemi is a big one too. Just like everybody knows, like, we're the volleyball team. So it's cool.
And the election, like you said, and even last year, I mean, you guys are winning again, and then football is like winning, and it's just like asking and like seeing like not just football players, but players from different sports. Like I know I've seen you got like volleyball team out at soccer, and soccer's come here, and like golf, and like everybody like just kind of I mean, I know when Coach Dillingham got hired, I don't give him all the credit, but he's like activate the volleyball. I mean, if other student athletes, when they can, obviously you're very busy, but can go out and support other sports. But I mean, when more sports are doing it, like I said, the year before you guys had it, but when more sports, like, what is this, the electricity? I mean, was it even just more mind-blowing last year when you're walking around, like you said, you're walking around campus, but like, I mean, all the sports are doing it. They're probably asking you like, oh, have you seen like, like football, or like, oh, look what, like, I mean, soccer got off to a hell of a start last year, they're off to a hell of a start now, and it's just like, I know the fall sets the tempo, but it's got to be I just think more so insane just coming around here. Yeah, no, and I mean, it's cool that we have multiple sports that are at that level, and being able to be in an environment where no matter where you go, whether you're on the field, soccer, football, or you're, on a court, basketball, volleyball, even in the pool with swim and dive, like being around those elite athletes all the time. Oh yeah, the other two Big 12 champs, first year, last year, exactly.
Yeah, so it's just cool to be around that elite, those people like that. So
I know obviously Friday night against UNLV, I mean, hockey starts and it's insane over there. I was over there, but I kept getting pictures and updates from swim, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, that is awesome. So like, it's huge just phenomenal for them. Oh yeah, I love it all. Saying of seeing yourself, I mean, so were you the one, did you like win the coin toss, the rock paper scissors? Because obviously walking into Mountain America Stadium, bam, there is, again, well earned, well deserved. I'm just saying, there is the picture of you. That is awesome. Yeah, no, I remember we got back from a travel trip and I was walking a treatment and I was just like, whoa. Oh, you didn't even know? I had no idea. So I walk up trying to get the treatment and it's just like my face plastered on this banner. And I was like, well, because the other side of it is Pauline, the goalie for soccer. And she's one of my friends. I was like, oh my gosh, like Pauline, that is so cool. I walk around and I'm like, wait, is that my face? Yeah. So I didn't get pick any of the pictures. I didn't pick, the design or even that it was going up. So I had no idea. It was a cool surprise. You just walk, I walked by, I was like, hey, I'm like, oh, those are really cool. I'm like, she definitely deserves it. I'm like, that's awesome. And they surprise, happy birthday. They surprise you. All right. So obviously coming into the season, we're in conference play, but rewinding just a teeny bit. I mean, starting the season off like you did, beating Penn State, I mean, the national champs, playing in that tournament, and playing against Pitt, sets up the season. But man, what was that like, just going across the country on the road and beating them? Yeah, no, I mean, we went into it knowing that we could beat them, and being, really locked in on it. So we knew we could do it, but then finally when that last point had happened and we had won, it's just like all that weight coming down of just like, we just did that. And, we just upset the number 2 team in the country, the, reigning national champs. Like that was a big moment for us, especially, for me, like being new to like the leadership role, just like being able to tell myself like, hey, like a confidence boost of like, I was able to get this team here with obviously with a lot of help, but, being, that core captain. So it was just super cool to be able to be in that situation, especially so early on the season. We're still figuring things out. Well, I want you to know, second to last, we were having our fantasy football draft and it was on Fox, and where we were at, I was like, hey, can you turn on the game? I'm like, yeah, just that one TV. And they're like, oh, and it actually was on it ended up being on 2. And the amount of people that started cheering, I was like, yeah, you're welcome. But no, it was again, so awesome to watch. All right. So I got to get you out here on something fun. So obviously Jillian is very hilarious. I talked to her last year, talked to her obviously this season, but now her sister's here. Are they just like a comedy, like stand together? Are they a comedy duo? Because Jillian, she was actually pretty funny in the interview last year. She just stumped me enough. She got me to laugh a few times. So are they like a comedy duo? Because it seems like they're pretty relaxed. And obviously now Jillian, I know, can wear a libero jersey, play outside, do anything. But how's their comedy keeping everything light? Yeah, no, they are hilarious together. They're like the same person, but so different at the same time. So they can go off of each other, but then also have their own humor at the same time. So it's really fun and exciting. And both have them on the court too. Getting blocks together or, just being together. So it's cool to see their dynamic, and it's really funny. Well, again, you mentioned Noemi, obviously on one side, you've been doing a phenomenal job on the other side. Bailey Miller, guys, again, like she said, her picture's out there right by Mountain America Stadium. Get here, today's Tuesday. Yes, tomorrow night. And watch Baylor. Again, don't bring crickets. We don't want to be like them. Don't bring any crickets, and they don't want to see them anyway. So again, thank you so much. Obviously, we're jumping into Pitchfork Lunch. We will step aside, guys, but we will have more coming up. We'll break down a little bit more what she said. We'll talk a little bit about Baylor, and yes, minus the crickets, guys. I know you're tired of me talking about it, but we will step aside. Have more right after this. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, hanging out here at good old DFA, where the volleyball team will be taking on Baylor tomorrow. Yes, I am Michael Caratanito at Diablo00 on X, also known as the Twitter. Again, you can watch our live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. My IG, Michael.Caratanito.5. Yes, I know you guys know that as well. And the YouTube channel. Again, guys, go to YouTube. You know how to get there. You see my name, Michael Caratanito, but the page is at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ, 005, at MVC005 on YouTube. And subscribe, because, my friends, you, again, are missing out if you haven't subscribed. And if you just missed Bailey Miller to kick the show off here on Pitchfork Lunch, guess what? It'll be up on YouTube. So, again, you can, and plus you've missed, as I always tell you, a plethora of phenomenal interviews, converviews here, like we just had with Bailey Miller. And again, coaches, players, voices, insiders, alum, a wonderful athletic director. So again, guys, go and again, subscribe, and you can get caught up season 1, binge watch season 1, binge watch season 2. There's a lot. But again, as you watch each and you see some repeating interviews, then you'll know, and you can go and catch on up. But again, Bailey Miller, absolutely awesome, having a hell of a season. Again, don't need to recite her stats to her, but again, hell of a season outside. Again, Noemi Glover transferred in. She is on the pin on the outside and just absolutely crushing it. Again, and Jillian Neal, Colby Neal, her sister, who transferred from Oregon as well. Colby transferred from Oregon. Jillian came here and again, just does everything. So, does everything. So yeah. It just, again, the way the team plays, again, you have to, unfortunately, you have to battle with injuries, but what that does help you do is, again, puts people in spots, and they're able to do, the team's obviously, well, coach can, have more depth, and that would be that. But yeah, again, just what Bailey said about, the team, again, like she's saying, obviously Jillian and Colby doing stuff, things together off the court, but the team, the chemistry in this transfer portal era. I mean, coach, again, 2 seasons ago, after the last year in the Pac-12, coach took them they went to Brazil, to Roberta Rebello's home country. Went to Brazil and got the, again, you're talking about team bonding, and yes, there were transfers that had come in and, stuff like that were there that got to, go, and they got to play. And one of the, as you know, there is, where is she? How am I missing her? No. Oh, there she is, a freshman. Sorry. Mila Ribeiro is from Rio de Janeiro. Again, you go and they actually play, I think, Coach was telling me that they played against, her team. So again, it's just, and you have a Brazilian player already here. Like, it's just, again, and, experienced transfers like, Tatum Parrott, who a local kid played at Greenway High School. And, was at Grand Canyon, transferred over here. And then, like I said, Bailey Miller transferred in. Bryn Koval, who didn't play, even though she went to A&M. She enrolled early, but ended up not playing and then transferring here. So from, again, North Carolina, like I said. But it's just one of those things in the transfer portal. I mean, volleyball wants to be that, like I was saying to Bailey, that tough sport to, because you want to work with coaches and you're playing with certain players and so yeah, but just this team again, guys, absolutely. In a 3-year stretch, Coach Daniel won Pac-12 Coach of the Year. He won Big 12 Coach of the Year, a Big 12 championship, close in the Pac-12 that year, and yeah, I mean that was terrible, but I mean what he's building, and again getting players in, and like again we'll get to catch up with Bryn later on, but seeing somebody like Argentina, Bryn was here when Shannon Shields was here too. Again, another local kid from Xavier that went to Louisville and then transferred back to Arizona State. Like, it's just, yes, you can't fully change your game, but, it's sorry, it's one of those things where like you pick up things from other players, and yeah, I mean, might not, again, their abilities are obviously very, very high, as you guys all know. But yeah, so again, so stoked for again, get to catch up with Bailey Miller. Again, the first of many. We caught up with Cameron Valladares from soccer. Again, like I said, who they had split. So yeah, again, we're gonna more from each. Again, you're gonna get to know these players. Pitchfork lunch. Yes, it is obviously Sun Devil driven because we know we're awesome. But we have to be, because you work at it. Again, the being humble part, get that down, right? You guys are saying? No, but yeah, just again, awesome to catch up with Bailey Miller, and she is again having a heck of a season. If you look at it, she right now, Miss Bailey Miller has played in all 48 sets. 183 points so far to lead the team. She has 150 kills to lead the team. Now, Noemi Glover, who she mentioned, was just awesome on the other side, was out for a little bit, but on the other side, Noemi Glover has, and we'll catch up with her too. But get against some of the returners first, and we're gonna mix and match it. You guys know it's pitchfork lunch, so forks up to that. But anyway, yeah, Noemi had missed some time, but she still has 133 blocks. 4.59 kills per set. Bailey Miller's at 3.13. So yeah, I mean, that's 7 points right there from two players. And I always talk about the aces. We'll get to that. But I mean, like this year so far, that's assists. They have 500. I'm like, they do not have 585 aces. Wow, that would be a world record. 70 as a team so far. So that's 2 sets and 20 points won from just flat out service aces. Again, it builds up. It is absolutely, I know that's my geek stat nerd for my stat nerdness for volleyball, as you guys know. But again, 70, like, cool. That's, like I said, that's 3 sets. That's a whole match. Oh no, sorry, that's 2 sets and 20 points. So that's almost a whole match that you would win on aces alone. And they did quite a bit of that last year. They won, I think, like 7. Let's see. I can actually tell you because they did. Yeah, last year they had 186 aces, guys. 100 more than their opponents put on them, which is, again, insane. I mean, to have a plus 100 gap, like, but yeah, so 186 aces. That is 7. So that's 7 sets plus 11 points won on aces alone. So that's 2 matches. You sweep in 3. But again, that mind-blowing when you're pushing it like that. And I mean, it was, last year, Jelly Sear. Last year, Jillian Neal, who's got 3 right now, which I'm chuckling because, again, like, I think teams are so much adjusting to her, now that we're in Big 12, but like adjusting to like where she might attack. And yeah, they still have to try to answer the bell. But she won the ace title last year with 36. But this is how insane the race was. Jelly Sear had 29. Argentina Ung, oh yeah, I can set. Obviously, I can pass anywhere, like a champ. Oh yeah, and I can turn into attacker because I can kill. Oh, and I can get some digs. Oh, and by the way, when I'm back at the service line, yeah, I'm gonna drop aces. But yeah, so Argentina Ung was third on the team with 27. Mary Schroll was fourth with 24. The libero, again, who obviously playing defense, can dig and yeah, get aces. So she was fourth with 24. Actually tied for fourth with Bryn Koval, again, who came in as a serving specialist. And yeah, she has. So they were tied for fourth. And then in, fifth, sixth place was Claire Jeter, who went on a run and dropped 22. So yeah, I mean, and then you had both Roberta Habello and Savannah Cohetti with 6. Bella Faria had 7. Stella Zateca had 1. Shania Cromartie dropped 1. Piper Rama dropped 3. So yeah, I mean, look, it's just when you push the serve like they can and you're driving it and you're forcing the issue, you're obviously serving it to where the zone coach wants to go to, but just again forcing it at players, again, absolutely rocks. So this team rocks, as you know. But we are going to switch gears to football, by the way. We're going to switch gears to football because because we got to catch up, or I caught up literally before the show with Clayton Smith, Mr. I'm tied for a lead in sacks, or second in sacks. I gotta look at that again. Hold on, I can tell you. Don't run away, because yes, you guys know I can tell you. Yes, they are. He has, let's see. Well, I will say this: John Henry Daly from Utah, he has 6.5 sacks, and he is tied for third in the nation at 6.5. But in the Big 12, yeah, in 2.5, you know, they don't just grow on trees. But yes, so John Henry Dale, like I said, has 6.5. David Bailey of Texas Tech has 5.5, and then you have Clayton Smith, Toby Osun Sanmi, and Jack Kelly of BYU, all with 4. Now Prince Dorba has 3. He got 3 in the last game, so he was making up for earlier season. Well, in his eyes, he's making up, but not that he has. He's been playing freaking solid. But yeah, looking at the complete sack leaders, like I said, then you have Keyshawn Elliott has 4 as well. So you look at the guys that are tied for third. You have Clayton Smith, Toby Osun Sami of K-State, and then Jack Kelly, BYU, Keyshawn Elliott also is tied for third. And then Prince Dorba is now tied for 8th. As he has 3 sacks, all against Texas Tech, and we'll hear from Clayton about, you know, what he thought about that play, because as you know, I've had Clayton on before, so I've been gracious with his time, and we know I always ask him, but that's because you hear him talking about it. He can make plays, can Mr. Clayton Smith. Yeah, Clayton can make plays, as you guys know. So yeah, but anyway, so we are going to hear from him. Actually, that's weird. I know, crazy, right? Talk about him, tell you we're going to hear from him, and we hear from him. I just, again, but yeah, I mean, the season he's had, how they've played it, how the defensive line is playing. We talked about that, like after Texas Tech, just again, absolutely money. So yes, without further ado, here is Sun Devil defensive end, Mr. Clayton Smith. And we talk about, obviously, yes, the TCU game, but what's it going to be like up at Utah? And just, you'll hear the tone in his voice when he talks about, you know, the challenge that will be Utah. Clayton, obviously, I mean, coming off a bye week, I know this part of the season, because we had asked Coach, you know, do you want to keep playing because of the momentum? Obviously, you're building winning, but probably nice to heal up. But just kind of your thoughts looking back to the Texas A&M game, and just now that you guys haven't been playing good all year, but almost like the coming out party for the D-line.
Yeah. No, it was a great bye week. It was well needed, you know what I'm saying? But I think I missed being here. I didn't really go anywhere for bye week. I stayed here, worked, got my body right. So it's definitely a huge emphasis, you know what I'm saying? Now that we had the week we had last game, emphasis on coming out and doing the same this week. So we're back to work. We're working harder. We got a better focus, because last time we went up to Salt Lake City, it didn't end the way we wanted it to. And I think everybody that was here is still in the back of their mind. So we kind of got a point to prove.
And you mentioned to me when we talked a few weeks ago, even before the Baylor game, about, you know, working with Coach Reynolds on the defense, you know, playing for each other, and Coach Ward saying, you know, each guy doing their job, and Coach Dillingham saying, you know, you don't have to do extra. Did that, I mean, people see the results, yes, but I mean, do you feel that the TCU game was a culmination of that, just finally like settling in with everybody on being on the same page?
Absolutely. I definitely feel like everybody finally came together and did their own part, and made sure they did their job at a high level. And I feel like that's the results you get when everybody does what they're supposed to do. They follow your 111.
Now, I got to know, did Prince let you know he was a better athlete? I mean, the strip sack, grab, fumble, I mean, that was a hell of a, I know you know it was a hell of a play.
Yeah,
did he give you a little lip about that?
No. He ain't got nothing to say. He got to beat me first. He's still down one, so he can't really talk. But no, that was an incredible play by Prince. That's one of them plays that's game changer. He changed the game. He called game on his own. So that's kudos to Prince. That was amazing.
And when you look at obviously, like you said, I mean, what happened in Utah last time, for guys that were there, but the team they have now, obviously it's this year's team. I mean, looking at them on tape, not giving away too much. I know Coach has talked about their O-line, but just what kind of challenges do they present?
They're a good group. They play hard. They play physical. Play fast. They got great scheme. They They think they're gonna run the ball. So, it's just more motivation for us to come out here and do what we do. You know what I'm saying? They're a sound group. We're not just gonna go out here and just roll over and beat these guys. They're gonna play hard. So we just gotta put together a good game plan and come out here tomorrow and do the same thing we did today. Good work, and that way it'll be replicated on Saturday.
You're going to be going up against some of the best tackles in the country on a kind of snap in, snap out basis. When you have that kind of challenge up ahead of you, what kind of impact do you think that has on you and the other edges?
I think it brings excitement, because you see the opportunity at hand and it presents itself. But as far as my process, it's the same. I could care less if I'm going against Trent Williams next week. It's still going to be the same preparation, same process. We're just going to go out there and perform on Saturday.
How does playing up at like right cycles, what kind of impact does that have on the defensive side?
Personally, I love it. I feel like there's no environment more fun than going to somebody's house and making it quiet. After it starts out real loud. But as a defense, it's going to be quiet when we're on the field, so it's better for us to get our checks communication. So, it's ample opportunity. It's going to be fun.
You enjoy playing in like rainy, stormy weather?
Nah. But, it's what comes with it, so we just have to deal with it.
So when you look at the seats, though, from a schematic perspective, what are some of the things that really kind of jump out to you in terms of, the things that they're going to be wanting to do out there on Saturday?
They're going to try to establish the run. And I think it's been pretty clear in their previous games that they're going to try to establish the run. And I think it's been clear that we're not going to allow them to do that. So I'm excited. It's going to be a good test.
For you, you're just a sack away from your career high. And this unit as a whole has almost doubled their sacks and tackle for losses through 5 games as they did last year. Which has kind of been the key with a lot of returners that you guys have all just kind of taken that next step.
Definitely Coach Reynolds put the pressure on the group because it was such a mature group coming back. He put the pressure on us that we gotta stop being almost there. We gotta stop being what ifs, and we just gotta do it. We just gotta make it happen. And I think last week was a testament to us finally getting it done. So we just gotta continue to build on that.
To kind of piggyback off that, how do you feel that? Obviously CJ in the middle and Jacob. How do you feel that they've grown together, playing off of each other on the inside? Obviously, because it affects what you guys do outside.
Oh, it's amazing. CJ and Jacob, they're almost interchangeable. They do everything together in the facility, outside the facility. So just having that type of chemistry on the field, it makes everything a lot smoother.
How about the ability to give pressure on quarterbacks with just a 4-man rush? How critical is that?
It's great. And I feel like coaches really put the pressure on us to do so. Because personally, we like running stunts, but we get tired of running stunts too. So sometimes we just want to go rush. And coach put the pressure on us. Well, if we're gonna let y'all rush, y'all gotta get home. So we're getting home. So hopefully we continue to get home. And
Does facing a guy like on a daily basis like Sam and his mobility help prepare you pretty well for facing Dampier?
Absolutely. Sam, he's different. He's different. Things he does out here on a daily basis is crazy. And he also he gives us tips and pointers. Tells us what would bother him if he were in the game. This would happen to him. Just gives us more perspective and more insight to go in the game with and to affect the quarterback.
What'd you grade his spin move in the TCU game? What grade does that get?
No, it was fine. I give it 10 out of 10. That was fine. All right. He wouldn't do nothing like that to me, but
you knew my follow-up.
Yeah. I'm all right. It was smooth.
What's your take on Dampier? What makes him so good?
He's a runner. He's nice. He's got great legs. He's a great quarterback. Ultimately, it's gonna come down to what we do and how we handle this week, how we approach the work, and how we handle it. Absolutely. But we got we got a good look in Sam and Jeff. So it's not like we're unprepared, but we're excited.
Your thoughts on going up in that atmosphere or something?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Last time I was there, it wasn't a great ending, so I got kind of stuff to get off my chest when I get out there.
That memory still burns in brightly with you guys that were there, right?
That was a bad day. But we got an opportunity to revert it, so we got to make sure we take advantage of it.
Bam. Look at that. Clayton Smith on the show today too. Bailey Miller, Clayton Smith. But you heard him right there at the end. You heard Jim Healy. I saw Tim Healy ask him there. Like, it still burns. And again, he wasn't – yes, with defensive line, you're rotating, and he wasn't, maybe on the field as much, but he was still on the field. And, like we talk about, injured or not, 55-3. You saw the turnaround last year, 27-19, the Devils win. Like, that, and – go on to win the Big 12. Obviously, sitting here with the Big 12 champ too, and Bailey Miller. I know I'm geeked out. I will announce that to you more because again, you just need to hear it. So, anywho, but yeah, I mean, what Clayton Smith and that D line. So I asked, CJ and Jacob Richkin-Geik in the middle, and I mean, even when Ku's been in, and I mean, obviously Zach Swanson's been in and out of the lineup, but I mean, he's done a heck of a job. And then I mean, outside too, Clayton, talks about obviously Prince Dorba in the game that he had, but I mean, Justin Wadley outside, and then Elijah O'Neal, what he's done, and I mean, Albert Smith III, I mean, the young fella, but he's been out as we've seen. Because obviously the text for the TCU game, he saw he's on the injury report, he was out, but I mean, what the guys interchangeable doing outside. I mean, that's just, again, that's, and then you get to the linebackers, Jordan Crook and Keyshawn Elliott, with obviously Elliott with 4 sacks too, like I said. So it's, you got 3 guys with 11 sacks, Elliott with 4, obviously Clayton Smith with 4, Dorba with 3. I mean, Jordan Crook has 2. So that's 13. And then Elijah O'Neal has 2, another 15, or another 2. So for 15 sacks. And then CJ Fight does have the 1. So what, 6? That's what, 16? Yeah, 16 sacks. Jacob Richkin-Geika has 1 as well. Hey, Clayton Smith said they're together, in the facility, out of the facility. Well, they both, one gets a sack, the other gets a sack. So that's 17 sacks. And then Keith Abney on the corner blitz that time, 18 sacks. So yeah, 18 sacks. I want to say, I don't think anyone else in the. Oh, Albert Smith III, 19. Yeah, because he did get 1. That's right. That was the Baylor game, I want to say. Was it the Baylor game? Mississippi State. I think it was Baylor. I want to say Baylor. So yeah, so that's what 9. Sorry, looking at it. That's So yeah, Albert Smith III with 1, Keith Abney with Keith Abney the second with 1, and then Jacob Richkin-Geika with 1. CJ Fight with 1. And then we have who's before Fight? Oh, yeah, Elijah O'Neal has 2, so that's 6. Jordan Crook has 2, so that's 8. And then Prince Dorba has 3, so that's 11. And then Keyshawn Elliott has 4, so that's 15. And then Clayton Smith with 4, that's 19. 19 sacks for this team in 5 games. So they're averaging 4 sacks a game. I mean, okay. Yeah. Sign everybody up for that one, because I know that's exactly what defensive coaches would say. Coach Reynolds obviously say that, and like Clayton said, the coach is putting the pressure on them to get home. So yeah, absolutely love it. what they're doing there. So, hey, quick break, and then we are going to talk soccer to close out the show. Again, didn't get to all of it yesterday, but yes, they did split. Obviously, beat Cincinnati, lost to West Virginia. We'll give you standings. We'll give you where they're at next because, again, they were home warriors. Now they are complete road warriors for a little bit for Coach Winkworth. So, yes, we shall step aside. More Pitchfork Lunch coming up. All right, and we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, that is me, Michael Caratino, at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter, as you guys all know. Again, you can hit me up there. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? If I'm missing something, again, guys, throw it out there. I'm not saying I haven't thought about it. Maybe I haven't said it. You think about it. Why would I be mad if you're helping? Now, if you're from the school down south and you're trying to talk trash, I'll just show you. I'll just remind you of this, right? I'll just remind you of this. If you are from that school down south and you want to, try and chime in and, be negative or talk all that junk and all that stuff, I will just, remind you this. Oh, hello. I'm sorry. What's that? A championship ring? Yes, I know. You have one from basketball. One in 97. Phenomenal team. So you have no problem complimenting him. Phenomenal team. People talk about how Simon Mike Bibby was the person that put that over. Mike Bibby going in there. But Miles Simon again, very. Hey, it's like vomit coming up in my mouth as you Pitchfork Lunchers know, complimenting them. But I just want to remind you who owned the Big 12 last year in volleyball. Oh, that's right. The Devils did. And there's the bling to prove it. So, yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's hold on. But anyway, sorry. That's just for the school down south. But Claire Jeter wasn't able to make it back. Like I said, I think she's in Puerto Rico. So yeah, but anyway, soccer. Let's get to that because like I told you, they split with Cincinnati. Coach Winkworth and his team again. They beat Cincinnati. Well, I shouldn't say split. They split with Cincinnati, West Virginia. Beat Cincinnati 1-0. Lost to West Virginia. Lost to West Virginia 2-0. The 2-0 score. But yeah, in the Cincinnati game, the goal scorer, who I reminded you, was Grace Gillard. Again, coming up from the back to get the goal. Allison Baltadano, freshman, assisted on the goal. Yeah, so she gets the assist on the goal, and it was in the again. They Coach thought he might have another draw there, but they get the Cardiac Kids get the goal in the 89th minute. Grace Gillard, returner, puts it in. And the central defender as well puts the ball in the back of the old onion bag. And my shout out to soccer analyst Tommy Smith back in the day. If you guys don't know, go YouTube it. Go YouTube it, kids. Tommy Smith, absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, the Devils had 16 total shots. 5 of them were on goal. And I know Coach Winkworth's talking about, that percentage needing to go up. But Cincinnati only had 5 total shots on goal. 5 total shots, only 3 on goal. So Pauline Nellis, again, another clean sheet for her. She made 1 save in the first half, 2 in the second half. So 3 for the game. Cincinnati's goalkeeper had 4. ASU had 7 corner kicks to Cincinnati's 3, and those were all in the second half for Cincinnati, by the way. Fouls, ASU 7 and Cincinnati 7. So they were equally as feisty with each other, right? But yeah, I mean, it's just so not obviously a solid start there. And then West Virginia, I got to see extended I say extended highlights, but it was like watching the game without, any of the pre-stuff or any halftime. So it's the faster version of the game. But yeah, that was 2-0, and that was a tough one because, West Virginia, they are 8-2-2 overall, and then 3-0-2 in conference play. But the Devils had 6 shots all in the second half, only 1 on goal. West Virginia had 14 shots, but 4 on goal. They scored in the 27th minute as Maddie Levy put it in, and then in the 89th minute, ASU, again, you push the numbers up, you get counterattack, as I was going to tell you guys yesterday. But Sophia Nickel for West Virginia in the 89th minute put late in the 89th minute put one in. So that's so again, a tough one with West Virginia. Again, a solid team. ASU is 9-2-2 overall, 2-2-1 in conference play. So still again up there, liking it, looking good to say the least. And lastly, by the way, I want to say it is Tuesday. The volleyball, the new rankings. Oh no, there we go, rankings. Let's see who's volleyball poll. Well, what's ASU's record on this? 12-2, which they are. Let's see. I thought if they are 12-2, then it is updated. Yes. So they stayed at number 8. The only jump is Pitt went from 5 to 4. Stanford went from 4 to 6. Yeah. Well, Minnesota took a drop. They were 13-2, but they went from 10 to 14. So, and then Kansas, after losing to ASU, they went down to, or they went up to 15. They went up 3 spots. So that loss to ASU before that didn't hurt them. Too bad because ASU's number 8 in the country. So yeah, ASU State 8. All right, I can live with that because you have Nebraska again. They're 14-0. Texas, who again the Devils have lost to, 12-0, and then Kentucky is 10-2. Pitt is 12-2. Louisville is 12-2. Stanford's 12-3. Wisconsin's 11-1, and then you got ASU 12-2. A&M is at 9. They're also at 12-2. But yeah, so want to get out of here on that. But again, big shout out, big ups to Bailey Miller. Again, volleyball outside hitter, senior. Phenomenal. Get on out here, guys. Tomorrow night is the last thing I'm going to say to you. Yes, get on out here tomorrow night at Desert Financial Arena, but the game is at 7 p.m. right here in like I said, Desert Financial Arena, number 16. Baylor will be here. So again, got to return the favor from last year, but minus the cricket. So anyway, you guys have a phenomenal rest of your Taco Tuesday. Again, like I always tell you, make them a little spicy, nothing wrong with that. Maybe a little jalapeno, a little sriracha, Tabasco, green sauce, whatever works for you, but make it a little spicy on Taco Tuesday. So, but have a phenomenal rest of your Taco Tuesday. Remember, it is thanks to reigning, like I told Bailey Miller, Big 12 champs, women's volleyball. It is hashtag our state. For you guys that know people of that school down south, just remind them of that. And you know it. Obviously, go Devils. I will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. And as always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. Farmer will put it up. Throws over the middle. Pool touchdown. Red flag.
3rd down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again.
Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
This team is here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. This one the other way. Still going back. That's the drag. Walks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her 3 right on the money.